Today I'm really pleased to talk to Adrian Avendano. Adrian has spent his career traveling the world, building technology and communities. We talk about his career, his travels, his networks, and the power of communities. Make sure you unlock the power of communities in your business. Enjoy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Selfmaker Show. This is your host, ConorLyn.ch. Hi Adrian, how are you today?
Hi, how are you, Connor?
All good,
Great to
all
see you
good.
today.
Likewise, how are you getting on? So, Adrian, for people that don't know you, maybe tell us a little bit about your background. I know we met in Ireland through the tech community maybe 10 years ago or something like that. Maybe
Yes.
tell me a bit more about your background so people that understand your journey.
Well, professionally, I'm a developer by background, so I've been coding for around 16 years. And I grew up between Mexico City and New York. So I'm Mexican citizen, US resident, and also I happen to have an Irish passport. So I'm also Irish. So I lived in Ireland for 6 years. And actually, when I was living in Ireland, in Galway, that's where I first started my first startup in Galway when I was there, right, in 2008. And so, yeah, it's been basically 12 years of starting companies, right? And but basically the core theme of all what I've been doing throughout the 12 years is, using technology to connect people, but to connect people in a meaningful way, right? So meaningful, what it means is that adds value to their professional or personal life and or knowledge base, right? So the bulk of my work throughout the 12 years is basically leveraging technology to create more meaningful connections, throughout the years, in a nutshell, right?
Great. So you're currently in Georgia?
Yes,
And
in
you
Tbilisi,
are,
Georgia.
yeah, and but you do travel quite a bit, and unfortunately not so much in 2020. But you do have, say, some networks, and you organize meetings and communities, etc., with
Yep.
different people from all around the world. I've joined some of
Yes.
them, and they're very, very interesting. There's people from literally all around the world involved.
Yes.
So how do you go about setting these up and inviting people and planning it, and then so tell me more. How does all that work?
Well, it was, like I said, it was a long journey to get to where I am right now in terms of doing it, right? So it all started because, as I mentioned, I was working in tech startups and I was building technology to connect people, right? But one of the things that I realized early on, this is possibly 7 or 8 years ago, it was like, what's my actual superpower? Out of all the things that I do, coding, like coding, building partnerships, selling stuff, all these kinds of things. Like, what's my core competence? What are the thing that could be the best in the world at, right? So I started thinking about that years ago, right? And then when I was with my ex-partner, we started discussing, it's like, what do you think I'm the best at? It's like, well, maybe I think it's kind of connecting, it's like, meaning bringing people together and stuff, right? So like, okay, yeah, and I realized I did it naturally. It was not an effort like, oh man, I'm gonna connect, oh shit, I need to connect somebody right now. No, it just happened, like I just got excited by doing it, right? And the reason is because it allowed my mind to think about, okay, people, they're doing this and these people are doing that. What happens if I bring them together? What kind of knowledge they could share, connections, and like what could happen once you bring those people together and the outcomes, right? So I started thinking, my mind kind of fitted that in a way, because I love to explore, many different ideas and concepts and, discuss these ideas with people, bring them together. So it just started like that, right? Realize, okay, my superpower was connecting. And then I just basically focused on that. It's like, what can I do to connect more people, right? So I started experimenting, bringing people together through like just fun events. And then I started working more hardcore. Then I went, okay, I'm going to do like a bigger tech event in New York, and then in San Francisco, and then in London, and then in Shanghai, and then So basically started building and so traveling around the world, say, okay, if I can connect people in the major cities in the world, right? So if I can do big events in New York, London, and SF, then I can do it anywhere, right? So start doing events in Shanghai, Singapore, Taiwan, Tokyo, and so on. And obviously I didn't do it alone, right? The idea is of community, right? So it's like connecting means community, building communities, right? So empowering other people to also connect with others, right? And empower them to become people who bring people together, right? So yeah, basically throughout the years, organized 100+ events around the world in 35 different cities, right? And this have been mainly technology events, right? But now with COVID, we can't bring people together face to face, right? So once COVID hit, start doing webinars, right? So we've done 26 different webinars once COVID hit. And yeah, so we've been connecting people in very different way now through the Zoom concept, right? Obviously it lacks the face-to-face kind of trust building element.
Yeah.
But so far in terms of to at least create some form of connection and partnership, it works, right? So we'll see what will happen next in terms of like post-COVID, right? Once we have access to, again, meet up face-to-face, like we used to, how we're going to leverage the online tools versus the face-to-face and connections, how networks and communities would evolve. It'll be interesting to see that, right?
Absolutely. And so what the focus of the events is around technology. And do you use your own experience to try and help people along and develop their ideas? Is that part of the value people are working with you?
Okay, yeah. So yeah, talk to you about, doing the events to connect people and so on, right? And so very importantly, we've been building the network of investors, of people working within corporates, and CEOs of tech startups, right? So we've aggregated this network globally, right, to basically help those communities connect with other potential partners in different markets, right? So for example, if there's a early stage startup from Colombia that would like to build a new distribution channel or partnerships or connect with an investor in Southeast Asia, we have the network to basically make the introductions and connections happen, right? So that's the value add, right? So connecting the tech communities at a global scale, right? And how we're doing that is obviously before pre-COVID, we were doing tons of events and introductions and so on, right? But now we don't have that. So once COVID hit, we started basically focusing my tech background, it's like, okay, how can we do now? Everything's digitalizing and accelerated pace, right? So what technologies would help to basically make those connections happen between different ecosystems, right? So now what we're doing is creating a platform to basically literally match solutions, so say teams and startups who have a solution with a specific problem that we source from either a technology company, a corporate, or development agency in some part of the world. So we match the two, and then we bring other mentors and facilitators to have a meeting, like a Zoom meeting, right? So that's that. So far, we've been getting quite a bit of traction in terms of that, because we realize, people have realized, our big tech conferences are not coming back the same way. I don't think, yes, we're going to have a face-to-face, but once we went through this experiment of, zooming everything out, it'll be hard to go back to old school of doing stuff, right? So yeah, basically has been a focus on building a platform, making connections through our community and partner communities, right? So.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, you do remind me of the process I went through as well, maybe 12, 13 years ago, when I was exploring myself and what's my superpower. And I thought, well, I learned about connectors from, Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. And I didn't feel I was a connector, but I thought it would be something good to aspire to. So it was almost
what did you feel you were?
Well, I thought I had the skills. I did think I had skills, and I could help people in marketing and branding and online. So I did think I was really good in that, but I just thought that maybe almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, that if I if I position myself as a connector, and then that would kind of force me to be a little bit less of the guy in the background. And I ended up like yourself running events and being forced up to the front to kind of to introduce people.
Yep.
And then, but as well, I was driven by the early, very, very early stages. We had a lot of events. It was bringing people together. It was very satisfying because you do think, I think you guys will get on well, or you these businesses could work well together. There's good synergy.
Yep.
So I think there's a very, very similar journey, thinking, motivation in the way that we've worked with around communities. But you've really brought it to a whole new level. So do you want to tell me about the geographical spread of some of the what's happening right now? Because I think there was people in Africa, there was some in Asia.
Yep.
So maybe some of the geographical spread, but also I think there was academics, there was corporate. So just a kind of flavor of who comes to these events.
So yeah, okay. So once we start rolling out events, for example, in 2019, we had close to 40 events, and it was 29 different cities around the world, right?
Yeah.
And the events were focused. We brought investors, CEOs of tech companies, and tech community builders, like local tech community builders, to come and discuss challenges, opportunities of scaling up globally. Technology startups and teams scaling up to other markets. So we'll discuss about what was happening in the local ecosystem in terms of like tech development and what was happening in the region and beyond, right? So always calling the theme of the events were called Going Global, right? So, and of those events, we had in each community, we had like a chapter leader, so a local community builder who would help us lead the event. So we had 35 chapter leaders, who would help us run these events. And these chapter leaders will also invite local community, and we'll invite so partners, even bring partners involved. Sometimes we'll get involved with universities because they will provide a venue and they will like to bring students. So actually, on the academic side, we got a lot of students actually joining our events because they wanted to get like a certificate of attendance, because technology and tech skills were obviously in demand already for the last 10 years, right? So basically our network, at least 20-35% are startups and entrepreneurs. The other 40%, another 30-40% are tech professionals, right? People working within tech corporates and or in the tech industry. Another chunk investors, another chunk policymakers, and people working in academia, right? That's the other part. So now, but this is in terms of the professions. So in terms of regions, so like I mentioned, we've done events in basically every single country of Southeast Asia except Bhutan and Laos, because they're very small. But basically cover everything: China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Indonesia, all of them. In South Asia as well, we did India, we did Bangladesh as well, and we're doing Pakistan as well, but couldn't do Pakistan because COVID hit. Middle East, we did Dubai. Also we did Turkey, and Europe, we did London and Madrid, and the Americas as well, right? So we cover a wide range of the ecosystems. But now, post-COVID, because we have network all around the world, we can bring them all together in one session. So we've been doing sessions, what we call lightning talks. So we invite people from our community to present for 3 minutes stuff they're working on. And so we get people from Africa, Indonesia, Colombia, Saudi present on the same slot, right? So it's a pretty varied community right now.
Yeah, great. That's amazing. So we're both fans of community, and where there wasn't a community, we created a community. So some people out there that are starting up a business and they've got an idea, would you like me encourage them to consider the opportunity, if there is a gap there, to create their own community and try and use themselves as a centerpiece of a community?
This is a question I've been thinking a lot about, specifically in the last few weeks, because believe it or not, I can't help myself. Meaning, I've started alternative communities. I have the GST community, but even I'm here, I already started like a language community here.
Yeah.
So actually, being here stuck in Tbilisi in Georgia, just because like, okay, I need to meet people.
Yeah.
So I started like a language exchange community, and I was like 300 people in this community, right? So we meet every week to language exchange, to learn different languages. So I've learned a lot, even the nuances of like community development, because it's like there's so much to learn. It's like a lot to learn in terms of like building community and sustaining a community. It's so complicated because humans are complicated, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking the question, should people start communities on their own, or should they always considering joining a local community, right? This is the other thing, right? So maybe it might not be for everybody to start their own community, because like I mentioned, it requires some like implicit effort that people might not want to put in the hours, right? Because community building, it's quite a lot of work. And then sometimes you're doing this and you're like, hey, why am I doing this for? Right? What's the actual benefits, right? People might not see it unless you have like an inner core drive to do it, because you like doing it. So unless you don't have this drive of like, networks, and that when you bring people together, you share ideas and they share ideas and ignite something in your brain or in your mind or whatever, I wouldn't recommend it to do it. But I would definitely recommend to join communities for sure, because I don't think we can rely, especially in COVID times, relying just on your family and friend network, I feel it's quite limited, you see?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so same with your professional network, right? So most people rely on those three cohorts, right? Family, friends, and colleagues, right? That's their social circle, right? Or group of people they know. But I think it's quite limited in terms of the scope, in terms of how much you can learn, how much you can share, how much you can build together, right? So that's why definitely being part of a local community, I think, is fundamental. And people hopefully realize now during COVID times, because people are much more isolated at home, and they realize, oh, I need these connections, with people, this face-to-face interactions. I think people are realizing the importance of communities, right? And being part of a community who you share things in common, right? Like values, mission, or even interests in common, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, so. I totally agree. And not just one, but maybe multiple communities. There's never, just to join, and it's again just to spread yourself out, and it's all about sparking connections and ideas from other people. So you can never get enough of that. So there is obviously a lot of work involved in running communities. Is there any kind of tools or platforms for running events and coordinating contacts and CRM, or anything that you've found that is helpful for you to try and hold all this together?
That's a good one. So I've gone through different processes throughout the years, right? So in 2009, we built our own platform website to connect those people, through Meet for Real. Like when we were in Ireland, we built a social network, and we basically make the connections online, and we post the events on our platform so people can meet offline. And then we build People Hunt, and then through that, Meetup. That's when we were in New York, and Meetup wanted to buy People Hunt in 2012. So I've experimented with so many different tools to make those connections happen, right? So I've built my own, obviously. So now with the GST network, I've been building my own kind of CRM, and then basically it's just obviously a list of people, and I have tags of those people, and then I can search those people by tags and then notify those people based on those tags. So I've been building this tool, right, throughout the years of the cohorts within our community, right? Because we have a cohort of the core group of speakers, and then we have the community people, people who've attended the events. And now we have the other cohort, which is the webinar people, right? The people who've attended our webinars. So it's now we have the three cohorts. So it's we build our own tools to basically notify and connect. And that's what we're also working on, the matching engine to connect those cohorts with other potential communities, right? But Now I shift. That's because we've been working in this community for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But if there's somebody out there who's starting like just a new community, just like I did the language community here from zero. I've started language communities before, but this one, like, I didn't know. Like, I got here, I knew 3 people in March. Now I know close to 300 people, right?
Yeah.
And then people are like, how come you meet so many people and I've been here all my life? It's like, no, it's just like, it's an aptitude. It's a thing you do.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
just love doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like right now, I used to use meetup.com
Yeah.
before, right? But the problem with meetup.com now, the business model does not make sense, meaning you need to pay as an organizer. And I think it's a tough sell right now, considering you have Facebook events, right? So with Facebook events, right, literally some countries except Korea, Japan, they don't use Facebook events as much, but in most markets, Facebook events are an interesting starting point to at least create a page for which people should come together, right? Secondly, Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups, definitely, there's a lot of people aggregated by interests, right? So if you create a Facebook event and post that Facebook event into a Facebook group, you can start getting some traction. And thirdly, right, you got the Facebook page. The Facebook page is just to aggregate this community, right? And then the Instagrams, right? So Instagram can leverage, you can leverage Instagram, Facebook page and Instagram page to leverage, communications. And to build the communication aspect in terms of community, I've experimented a lot with chat groups, meaning for the people in the community to talk to one another. So this from GST, we always had chat groups in WhatsApp, online, and Messenger. So, but now, for example, this new community that started, I have 3 chat groups on Messenger, right? The newbies who are just entering the community. Then the second is like, okay, more like the more engaged people in the community. And the third is like, okay, the super hardcore engaged, it's like the people who actually love teaching others, know?
Okay.
So another interesting thing that I've discovered is the filtering, it's like engagement within the community and how you leverage those platforms to connect them, so.
Yeah, very good. Very good. That's interesting. Very interesting. And do you use LinkedIn? How does LinkedIn, because it would be seen as more, because it has LinkedIn events as well, and probably a very strong business community. Do you tap into that as well?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so LinkedIn, let's talk about LinkedIn now. I haven't never used LinkedIn events actually, but I'm hardcore LinkedIn user, like hardcore. I spend like, I don't know, maybe an hour a day, every day on LinkedIn, right? Why? Because close to 4,000 connections on LinkedIn. So all the business development partnerships is basically through LinkedIn, meaning I know somebody who knows somebody is like, hey, I need to reach out to this person and so on. So LinkedIn is my kind of like oracle for, okay, who am I connected with? Oh, interesting. This person is doing this. Who knows this person? Oh, I know this person. So it's like this stage, because I build a huge network on LinkedIn, it makes sense because, I'm connected with somebody that knows somebody, right? But if you're getting started, definitely LinkedIn is like to at least reach out to potential new people who in a specific vertical industry. Definitely LinkedIn is like a must, right? It's like, I think everybody should know that by now.
But it is quite good for the events, hosting the events, and then you can message the people in the events, and it gets it onto your feed as well. So it can be
LinkedIn events, you mean?
Yeah. So it can be quite good as a way to notify the 4,000 people, etc., that you're up to something.
Interesting.
I think it's
I never actually played with LinkedIn events, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So I find that even as I have a couple of networks in different places that I might use, put host the event in 3 different places. So you're notifying people through the technology, the news feed of a particular platform, and then ultimately bring them all into the end location. But it just it's using the tools to market the event, because people are spread out over different tools and platforms and all the rest. So it's just yourself, just experimenting. So just another thing, maybe about some questions about advisors and partners because of your experience. So I think as part of I would recommend as part of their people's network, they should look at having an advisor, or maybe consider looking at partners, looking at teammates. Obviously, you've a lot of experience in, meeting loads and loads of people. So how would you then maybe filter down and recommend how to identify good people to get really close to?
Okay, well, I guess it depends first on the goal, right? What's the goal,
Yeah.
right? What you want to connect with people for, right?
Yeah.
I think that starts from the reason, right? Why you want to meet people, right? So once you define that, I think it's easier to, go about it, right? And segment those people. So in terms of like professionally, right? Or if you're building a team or company or something, this is the thing that I've learned throughout the years of being tech entrepreneurs, like, and people who make things. The product is great. Focusing on the product definitely is great, but now it's so easy to build something, like to code something. It's not that hard. There's so many tools out there, so many people playing around, so building something, it's not, obviously there's an art form to it, but it's not that hard. The hardest part is really attracting users and or building partnerships. I think that's the hard part, it's like once you have something, who could be a potential partner that you can leverage from each other to basically create more traction and or users and or feedback. So throughout the years, it's like I spend most of my time is like, hey, who can I build a partnership with and have conversations with those people? Are the goals aligned? What we're building, does it ring a bell with them? Yes, no, why? And if yes, okay, continue. If not, then what's missing? So and also building the team. That's in terms of partnerships, right? So I think people don't focus too much on partnership. They focus a lot on the product, which is, of course, you need to focus on the product. But I feel partnerships are fundamental because people right now these days, like, okay, they think they could just build something, just put it out there. But no, it's like people are thinking the same way. Hundreds of thousands of people is like, build something, put it out there. No, it's like, what can you build in terms of like partners out there? People are doing or thinking similarly to you, who can you connect with and build, at least collaborate, right? Collaboration, I think, is a word that is not, people say it but don't act on it that much. That people don't collaborate enough, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would be a collaboration, partnerships, and team. Obviously team is fundamental, right? But team is also another big topic.
So no, totally agree with all. Totally agree with all of that. And then just to my view on partnerships. You could, when I'm setting something up, you could always sell one-to-one forever, or is there a way to sell one-to-many? So that one partnership can open up so many doors, and it's those type of partnerships. Even at a very early stage, once you have your MVP, have those conversations. Don't be afraid of how big the company is, how big that organization is. Do you think that what you have could be of value to their users or their audience? I think that really helps me to try and get to the end result faster. So I think you seem to be on the same
and building
page
those
with that.
Yes, and building those partnerships, it's a tricky thing, right? Because it requires communication skills. It requires like persuasion, as in, what you have, is it clear and concise enough to them, right? Does it ring a bell to them, what you're trying to communicate, and then aligning that messaging to their goals and priorities. It's like an art form science thing, so
I think it is so some of those partnerships, it's more of a B2B, a corporate sale. It's slower, it's harder to get in the door, which door, etc. So it is an art form. It's challenging, but I think the results or the rewards can be very great if you can master those skills. If you can master those skills. So that's
of course.
was there, you were going to say something else there a minute ago. So we talked about networks, we talked about advisors, we talked about team. Was there anything else then around that the whole human capital, or the future of work. Anything there interesting that any thoughts you have on that area now that we've been through 2020?
Well, I think it's, yes, definitely. Well, this is a thing that I've been applying to myself as well, right? To my own mode of working.
Yeah.
And that is, I feel now on 2020, right, versus pre-COVID times, I think obviously we know we're going online, everything's being digitalized, and the other thing is we have so much more information now, even more than before. It's amazing the amount of content out there. In terms of like even valuable content, it's much greater now than before. It's amazing because all these people were doing closed doors events, right? And then they did not record anything, you know, or they did. So now all those recordings, for the most part, are just available online. So you can access really amazing content out there now, you know. So that implies, you know, there's a challenge with that, right? So yeah, there's incredible, amazing content, but on the other side, there's incredible amount of noise as well. So the noise value ratio, it's increasing simultaneously. Therefore, the amount of noise as well, it's immense, so immense now. It's unreal, right? So I use social networks, but I stopped engaging with them. Meaning, I only check them if I have to do a specific task and or doing some form of research, but I don't check my social media channels anymore because it's just, I get bombarded with so much content, and it's like, it's just overwhelming at this stage. You know, I find it so overwhelming. And I think before COVID is like, there was less unknowns. I mean, we had unknowns, but now the unknowns are greater, right? It's like the unknowns of how would life look like in the next 6 to 8 months? Would we be able to go back to where we were? And if not, how would life would look like? So it's like we're going through a huge transition point, and it's creating a lot of unknowns and uncertainty, and then we're filling it out, that void, we're trying to fill it out with content, you know, and like tips and advice and this and that is just noise, right? So yeah, like will be the, you know, in terms of focus. So my motto is play and focus, meaning you need to play a lot, play hard, work hard, but it's more like focus. How can you best create the best methods, habits to better focus in the work that you're doing, right? So that takes it, I think that takes years to really master the focus area, right? What habits allow you to better focus on the stuff that you're doing, right? And what's noise? So it's like, that's been a trial and error for me, for sure. But I think that's a huge area of development now, because people are working from home and they have no idea how to focus yet. They don't know how to gain that focus, you know, and then eliminate noise from focus and then play from work. It's like, it's all merged up and they don't know how to deal with it anymore, you know? So there's a huge area of development there.
So any tips for people on how you would focus and try and screen out and filter out so much of the noise? Is it the headphones in? Is it music? Is it blocking browsers? Is it, what kind of practical ways do you try and help?
Actually, I wrote a post about it. So I have a post, and I wrote the list of things that I do that help me focus, right? But it's like a holistic thing, right? In terms of exercise, diet, even like cold showers. I take cold showers now anymore. I don't take hot showers. I just take cold showers. Meditation, you know. So I do a list of all the things that help me focus, you know, and also, I block everything in my laptop, right? I really only the stuff that I working on, it's open on my browser. Otherwise, I block it. So I use BlockSite, for example, to block stuff, because like we subconsciously go into those sites without even thinking too much about it. So we need other tools to help us counteract our bad habits.
Absolutely. So if you could share that article, it'd be great. I could share it out, because that would be very, very interesting to learn a bit more about how you do it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I can share it here. I'll put it here.
And then is there any other tools or any other podcasts or anything that breaks through your filter that you think, oh, that's really interesting, I like this, that you go to for, and you would recommend other people to check out?
Oh, this is a hard one because I have so many different um, areas here, you know, so it's very,
Yeah.
very difficult because I wouldn't be able to, it's not just one source, right? I
Yeah.
really trying to diversify
Yeah.
where I gather information from. And,
Yeah.
but like I said, actually it doesn't, I can't type it for some reason. The chat, it's not open.
Yeah, we can get that afterwards. It's fine anyway.
Okay, I got it. So yeah, so on this list, I put there a lot in terms of like
Yeah.
what has helped me throughout literally 12 years of experimenting in
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah.
like what brings focus and flow in my work and life, everything, right? So in terms of tools, I'm really trying to minimize the amount of tools, you know, it's like literally I have a very minimalistic lifestyle. I just only
Yeah.
own 25, 30 items. I don't own stuff really. I just
Yeah.
own the basic because I don't like to manage things. I just like to focus on the things that matter to me and the
Yeah.
work that I do.
Yeah.
So I'm very minimal. I don't own things, right? I
Yeah.
own the basic. Um, Again, in terms of noise, I have blocked my social media for now, and I just focus. I don't read all the news. I just look at the headlines.
Yeah.
You know, I just read the headlines, but I don't dive in too much unless I'm doing like a session. Okay, I'm gonna just go crazy and just read whatever. Yeah, which I do. But in terms
Yeah.
of my everyday habits, I don't do it anymore because it's just like I get noise is the problem where it's
Yeah.
increasing, right? And I think we
Yeah.
need to counteract it for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just habits, really. It's like writing a list of habits, small habits that you can do every day that could help
Yeah.
you to have more focus and less noise, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that has helped me is, yeah, what is it? The basics, you know, basics like diet, meditation, exercise. That's just core basic. If you don't get those three right, it's very difficult to build on stuff on top, right? Because you feel sick. If you feel sick, feel
Yeah.
lazy, and on like, and you have so many things in your mind, it's even harder to focus, right?
Yeah.
So I've been practicing those for years and years and years and years and years, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of a baseline for me: the diet, exercise, and meditation, right? And in terms of the technology, yeah, we need to be very careful with the technologies and not just use it as is because they're very addictive, you know, especially social media. They're so addictive. They're built to drag our focus and our attention
Yeah.
and get stuck in there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to be very careful how we engage with the social medias of this world, you know, all this social media networks for
Yeah.
sure. And also YouTube. YouTube is double-edged sword. Again, I love YouTube, great content, but at the same time, it could absorb you so bad, right? So I'm very careful with YouTube as well, right? LinkedIn, even though I use it for work, sometimes the feed drags me in. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I spend more time than I should be,
Yeah.
scrolling. I think the signal is how much are you scrolling? Because that's, you know, it could be a signal you're just like digging yourself into a rabbit hole. You know, it's like if you're scrolling too much,
Yeah.
it's good
Yeah.
to scroll here and there, right? But every day if you're scrolling and scrolling,
It's
not good.
no,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
So
Is any do you like podcasts? Any kind of podcast, and maybe in business in general and technology, just for somebody to get up to speed with maybe trends or new technologies or anything like that you would recommend?
okay, so podcasts. I've been through cycles with podcasts, right? So I started listening to podcasts really when the first podcast came out in 2006, 7, right? I was listening to a lot of podcasts then.
Yeah.
Um, Now it's more like I do look, okay, in terms of get up to speed, depends on what industry, right? If you're talking tech, if you're talking business, if you're talking business in general, you know, so first is pick the industry, right? And create a list of most relevant sites that provide quality information, right? So I think it's first what's the goal, why, what are you looking for, and what's the vertical, right? So based on that, find the most relevant ones, and then check them out on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
So that would be if you're focusing a specific, if you want to start a business, or you want to start your own company, there's like a lot of contents, or like startup school, for example, startup school, they have tons of amazing content on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
This is for like startup entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, but if you want to be an artist, that will be a different path, right? If you want to like
absolutely.
sell your art or become a better artist, then that will be like maybe through a different site, right? So I do look at so many different things, but I guess for somebody out there who's trying to find the source, it's like understand first the why are you doing what you're doing. I think is the most important, right? Why are you doing this? And then second, create a list of habits that can help you achieve that why. And third, just small goals, right? Small goals, like what can you do today that will help you achieve your why, right? What set of steps can help you? And then basically, check progress every here and there. It's like, okay, do you feel you've achieved something in like the last 2 or 3 weeks? And if not, tweak, bring it back and change. And it's like an iterative process, right?
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Some loads of great advice. Anything else, Adrian? What's your plans for the future yourself? Where once things open up again, maybe 21?
So in terms of, well, there's two things, right? The first one is I've been doing a lot of building partnerships and doing tons of Zoom calls and whatnot, right? And the other one is so traveling. I used to travel to basically organize the events, right? But now, since travel is not possible, now we changed our model in terms of our community, right? So we're not doing face-to-face events, we're doing all on Zoom. So now travel will be more like a thing that I do just kind of to change the scenery, right? But hopefully, and not necessarily organizing events. Like I said, maybe I'm not sure how the event industry would look like in the near future, right? I'm still not sure. Are we talking hybrid model, kind of partially offline, partially online? That would be interesting to see. And if it goes about in that way, what would it look like, as in, so that'll be interesting to see, how things evolve in that area. And the other one is partnerships, how are we going to keep building partnerships? So can we build enough partnerships through Zoom, or we need to have that face-to-face, right? Do we need to still go there and have that face-to-face encounter to build that trust thing that is needed? So that'll be the other interesting question, right? So based on that, I'll move around the world, but I'll keep moving around the world, that's for sure, because I just learned a lot just by moving different countries and learning new languages and meeting people, right? But that's kind of me only, right? But in terms of like people working on their projects and or building partnerships and or growing professionally, this are two very important things to consider, right? Partnerships and work. How would it evolve? Is the current way of doing it sustainable? Yes, no. And if it is yes, I think even when we go back to normal, there's going to be changes, right? So it'll be, what the key point is, adapt and learn, and adapt and learn, like a like just gather information and then and then see, okay, this changes, and then just adapt those changes and then move along, right? I think people who do not adapt fast enough in this era is a big problem, right? Because I feel some people still thinking pre-COVID times, like this is just like a partial break and then we'll go back to like the way things were. It's like, no, far from that. That era is gone, that era is totally gone. We're entering a new world, but people have not woken up to the fact that this is a new world, right? So I think people need to wake up. This is a new world. We're definitely entering a new world. The world has changed already, will change and it will stay that way, right? So I think people need to adapt faster, right? And think, okay, the way with things we used to will be necessarily be the same, some might stay the same, but other ones are not going to be the same at all, right? So it'll be interesting to identify which ones.
Yeah, very, very interesting. So you're giving a lot of listeners a cold shower there, kind of the reality check. Wake up, guys.
Cold shower, yeah.
But Adrian, it's been brilliant to catch up. I've always enjoyed our chats and see what you're up to. It's fascinating. I will really hope we can do something together now that I can see what your plans are and the network you've built. I think it's really, really great. If people want to check out what you're up to, where would they go to email you or to see your website?
I think on my blog. Yeah. So I have Adrian Avendano medium.com. That's where I post a lot of the stuff on everything, community, on GST, on stuff that and also I've been doing a lot of videos on YouTube as well last few months as well. So I'll be posting more stuff, more video. Actually, I'm going to do more videos on community.
Yeah.
More videos on community and post like written posts on other topics and random things I come up with or think about. So I'll be posting a lot of stuff there. Yes.
Yeah, great. And on LinkedIn as well, I guess.
Yeah. And LinkedIn, of course.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, Adrian, listen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure catching up. I hope you have a good end to the year and successful 2021. And we'll talk again soon.
No, thank you, Conor. That's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. I like interviews. It's fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If this is your first time to join us, you are most welcome. And please subscribe for future episodes. This show is shared with you to help you succeed. So please share with others to help them succeed too. At Selfmakers, we believe you can all be your own business. We're here to help self-employed people across the globe accelerate their careers and achieve self-made success. Please visit selfmakers.com and follow Selfmakers on social media. Bye for now.